Hello again, Struck Club. Today I'm bringing you my final impressions, my review, what the Struck is, Weird West. It's where I will be sharing what I think about the game, the good, the bad, and anything in between. And hopefully it will help you figure out whether it is your kind of game, whether it's something worth it for you, based on what I believe is the pros and the cons, which I will be listing as well in the end of the video. So buckle up, I hope you enjoy it, and let's go. I always like starting with the story. And this time the story of Weird West begins with Jane Bell, a bounty hunter who needs to find her missing husband. She also notices a strange brand on herself. As the player progresses, her journey, more of the main story's plot unravels, and we slowly start to get what's going on. After Jane's journey, the player starts playing as the next character, and then the next character, and so on. In total, there's 5 journeys we will play through. Eventually, at the end of our 5th character's journey, the whole truth gets revealed and everything becomes clear. The 5 journeys will all build up to the finale, and our actions will have somewhat of an impact on the final cutscene / dialogue. It's not what's usually referred to as a different ending, but I don't want to spoil exactly what the choices matter aspect of this game is and how it affects the ending. 5 characters' journeys will pit you up against all sorts of characters: bandits, zombies, witches, werewolves, corrupt mayors, insect-like creatures, and so on. There's gonna be a lot more. And there will be plenty of side quests to keep you busy if you want to take things slow. Keep in mind there's also currently some planned content, some upcoming planned content, and the developers have already showed some sneak peeks. I would include the link in the description to those as well. Next, let's talk about the world and the map and all those locations that are spread around the map. And each of those locations that you see is a point of interest, and maybe there are some more that I might uncover there where there's a little bit of fog, but that pretty much sums up almost everything. That's probably 90-95% of the areas. There are towns like this one where you have all sorts of NPCs to trade with, to do certain things, to take bounties and so on. There are secret stashes that you might find by finding a map from an NPC, and then you use that map and it reviews the location. There are trapper camps, and those trapper camps, if you see that symbol, that means there's a tannery there you can use. There is this one where there's protectors. There's all sorts of things. There's also the red one. Wherever you see the red one, it means abandoned. That's what red means. There might be a town, and if it's abandoned and if you clear it out, maybe it will become populated later on. Now let's speak about combat. I'll be showing you me in the combat solo, but you have up to 2 companions that could help you or hinder your movements if you play with friendly fire, depending on how you play. So you can see you have your weapons, and you can choose which weapon you want to equip between the 5 types of ranged weapons and the 1 melee. You can switch between, you can quick swap between the last 2 equipped weapons. You can also stealthily approach things. You can hide in bushes, and that will give you stealth, although there are no bushes here to show you. And there's all sorts of abilities. For example, this one, which pretty much makes us invisible for a bit. You can see they're fighting there someone already. And yeah, you can try and sneak up on enemies, or you can just go guns blazing and do things whichever way fits. You can see I'm aiming, and this keeps moving your aim. And even if your cursor is not on the enemy, as long as the line is on that enemy, then it will hit. Other thing you can keep in mind is you've got bandages. X for bandages here. You've got anti-venom to heal. You've got your thing that reveals enemies, sixth sense that reveals enemies through obstacles. And you've got something that fills your action points. So if I use my ability like this one, and that uses action point. If I summon the wisps, that is action point, and if I use my action point review, that's as well. And there's another thing with action points: if you dodge roll while aiming, it does bullet mode, which is pretty nice. It's a pretty nice addition. So apart from guns, again, you have melee and you have throwable weapons. You have throwable things like dynamite. There's also lightning in a bottle, cluster dynamite, and so on. So that's pretty much the combat. Another good thing about the combat is you have slow motion, tactical mode, and enabling tactical mode slows everything down, gives you a breather to properly plan your move, and you can enable or disable this at any time. It's a toggle. That pretty much sums up the combat. When it comes to quests and side quests, there are plenty of side quests to do, and the main quests, they're kind of interesting. The main quest, without spoiling too much, lets us take control, as I mentioned, of the 5 characters, and each with their own journey, and those 5 journeys feel like 5 acts that are intertwined one way or another by the one thing, not gonna spoil what, that links those characters. I mean, I could probably just say that they're all branded. That's not that big of a spoiler. They all have brands on them, but there's also more to that, which I'm not gonna review. But that link brings them together, and after finishing one character's journey, you can meet that character on the next journey with whichever character you're playing and recruit them as a follower, which will also grant you access to any wood you left behind in their bags or inventory. The side quests vary from minor fetch and get rewarded type of tasks to finding secret stashed wood, or even ones that require to find or rescue a missing person, as well as missions to clear out the enemies in a specific location. There is also a lot of freedom when it comes to how one can complete the quests. All key NPCs that are important to the main story can be killed without impacting one's ability to complete the story. If you want to be a murderous outlaw and kill first, ask questions never, the game's got you covered. As I already mentioned, there are 5 different heroes, each of them being a different class than the others. Each class has their own 3 or 4 class abilities for some, as well as access to general abilities for each type of weapon: revolver, rifle, shotgun, bow, and melee. Each of the general ability categories offers 4 passive abilities that players can learn, and each class can use any weapon, but there are some obvious synergies. The current 5 classes are Bounty Hunter, which is a class that synergizes very well with gun slinging, pew pew pew. Then there is the Pigman, a class that offers great synergy with melee. He's also very beefy, and it can heal by consuming corpses all of the time, unlike the werewolf that can consume corpses but only while shapeshifted. The Protector is next, which is a class that has great synergies for bow or rifle. So if you are looking for something like that, but again, you don't have to play him that way. It also has a Summon Bear skill, which is pretty nice, and the Tornado. Then you have the Werewolf, a class that has something unique, a transformation mode, which by the way uses action points, and it can synergize with melee and shotguns, being close range, leaving you near the enemy. I think it's a good synergy, considering after you transform back to human, you might want to use something nice, but again, you don't have to play him with melee or shotguns. You can just play him ranged if you feel like it. You can play it long range. And then there's the Witch, the Onirist. Witch class that kind of synergizes well with all types of guns, as long as you keep yourself at range. I think you can play it melee as well if you feel like it. I mean, you're not forced to, but considering the class being a witch and so, I think long range weapons are nice. So maybe revolver, pistol, maybe a bow, who knows. Maybe even a rifle, long range rifle would be nice. And the witch also has some summons, some wisps, not like the bear summon, but it's pretty solid. And she has something that reflects, not reflects, but deflects projectiles, as well as she has invisibility and a blink skill. Now let's talk about wood and itemization. This is one of the things that is kind of boring, but good enough for a single-player story-based RPG without endgame. And that's how the itemization is. Players have 8 equipment slots. You have a vest, 2 amulet slots, and 4 ranged weapon and 1 melee weapon you can equip in those respective slots for revolver, shotgun, rifle, bow, and melee. There's quite a few amulets, by the way. Various conditions and effects that can trigger them, such as extra damage during night, chance to inflict bleeding during night, resistances to one element or another. This weird thing which is used for a specific quest, specific side quest with the witch specific encounter. This one high damage, deal additional damage if you have very high reputation, if you have very low reputation. And so on. There's a list on the wiki. You can check on my website. There's a link to the wiki. You can also just check the wiki itself, which is weirdwest.fandom.com, and read more about the different types of amulets there. It's kind of disappointing that the legendary gear is just wood with a bit more stats than gold, purple gear, which is it. And there is no special affixes attached to legendary gears, as we might be used to from other games. One thing worth keeping in mind is that you cannot craft legendary weapons, but you can craft legendary armor. You can also not craft legendary amulets. There's also only 2 of those, and they all are located in their each specific wood places. So when it comes to legendary weapons, you have to either buy them from the store when they show up, or get them from specific places in the world where the developers have hidden legendary weapons. So yeah, when it comes to legendary armor, you can craft purple into legendary. You can craft that way, but with weapons, gold is as far as you go. There are 2 types of crafting in the game. One of them is the forge, the other one is the tanning rack. Let's talk about the forge first. This is the place where you can turn nuggets into silver bars, nuggets into bars, copper, silver, gold, and bars into nuggets. And then you use the nuggets to upgrade your weapons. You upgrade a white weapon to green with, I think it was 5 copper nuggets, and then a green, which is copper item, you upgrade with 7 silver nuggets into a silver version, which is the blue one, which I can show you right now. And then you upgrade the silver one with 10 gold nuggets to make a gold weapon. And that's when the upgrading stops for weapons, as I mentioned. Whereas when it comes to armor crafting and the tanning rack, there should be a tanning rack in each tailor. In each tailor shop, which is this vest, the last icon here next to the orange bounty icon. And other places where there will be tanning racks are those places like the trapper camps, as well as this place here, thriving place. It also has that. Just look for that symbol with the leather, or look for the tailor that also has tanning racks. And in the tailor you need certain pelts, and there are various types of pelts and skins like snake skin, bear pelt, bison hide, deer leather, and so on. And each of those has 2 versions, regular and superior. You see there's the deer leather, then the superior deer leather. Basically, you can craft from scratch white armor with the basic material. Then from that basic material you can upgrade the white into green. And then eventually you could see the green would need the basic material to get upgraded to blue. And then starting from blue, to get it to purple, you would need the superior version. And then if you want to upgrade the purple armor into the legendary armor, you would need again some of the superior, more of the superior stuff. This one would require 4, and then I think it was 7 or something like that. You can also buy leather from the tailors and from those trapper camps. So you might wanna if you're struggling, you might want to rush that. You might want to rush into making the best possible vest you can. And each vest, if you haven't noticed, has different stats attached to them. So you have the bearskin, which is just protection, but 60%. Or you have the other ones that each will offer resistance to fire, to lightning, or to poison, and only 50% protection when legendary. As I already mentioned, each class has their own 3 or 4 class abilities, as well as access to those general passive abilities. For each of the weapons, revolver, rifle, shotgun, bow, melee, each of those, they will give you 4 or 3 extra passive abilities that you can learn. And yeah, those abilities can kind of steer you towards certain direction of playing, adopting a certain playstyle, and that's when things get fun. Considering, okay, how do I want to mix and match those? Do I want to rely on the class abilities, or do I just want to build around weapons? Do I want to mix and match class and weapons? Where do I spend my action points when they are there? For example, some people might prefer on the pigman to just go regular melee abilities, or others would prefer to use just bloodthirsty and adrenaline, skipping charge and spinning strike, and just relying on the passive buffs and then using the pigman's basic abilities. Some people might want to prefer going revolver and just going those lightning rounds, fend the hammer, or even high moon for AoE stuff. There are a ton of good things. The full list is available on the wiki, which I mentioned earlier, so you might want to look that up. Perks is our actual passives. Unlike abilities which we trigger, we use, we activate, which are active skills, perks are passives. But the good thing about perks is once you have learned a perk, it remains, persists for any future journey. So you start with Jane, and if you've unlocked this up to level 3, when you go on the pigman, it will be there. Anything any points you spend onto those will be transferred on your next journey for all 5 journeys on all characters. You use golden aces of spades, which you find all over the place, sometimes in chests, sometimes in cabinets and whatever looting places. Sometimes it will be rewarded as a quest reward, so they are spread all over the place, so it's worth visiting those side locations if you want to max things out quicker. And again, the full list of those you can check the wiki for that full list. The Bounties system is a pretty nice way to earn some dollar coins while hunting down various outlaws. The way it works is players interact with the bounty board, which is located in towns next to the sheriff's station. So when you reach a town, what you need to do is look for the sheriff's station. In Krakow, the sheriff's station is right here. Do you see that that office here, sheriff's office? And then next to that you see this orange icon on the bounty board, and once you interact with the bounty board, you would see some bounties here, or if there are any available. You might want to check different towns so you can get more bounties if you feel like it. And then you would go to your objectives, and it will show up here. You can track them, up to 5 quests can be tracked, and you will see the information. You would see where they're located, how many days are left. When you get the bounty, it starts as 15 days left. And then if you go to the world map, all bounties will appear with that orange glow around them, and it will show you the area where they are located, so you can just go there. Some places in the game would have various shops, various NPC shops. Krakow is one such example, it being a town. There are obviously other towns with different shops. Some towns would have less shops than others. But let's show you some of those shops. In the bank you can sell nuggets of all ores, and you can sell bars. Bars will net you more. Let's put it that way. With 2 copper nuggets, each costing 5, you create a copper bar, which will cost 15. Then there is the general store. General stores sell a bunch of food. They sell ropes and they sell walk-picks, which always stock up and buy all the walk-picks you see. You can never have enough of those. And you can sell junk, and there is the quick sell all junk option, which is amazing because it doesn't sell food or pickaxes, even though they do sell pickaxes and stuff. But yeah, which is pretty nice. It's pretty nice to keep that in mind. The doctor pretty much sells medicine. She can also heal you, but sometimes it's not gonna be worth that much when you can just go and interact with a bunch of cactus plants, cactus fruits and stuff, and drink from them and heal. It's gonna take longer to do it, and you can also interact with barrels and heal from those. The gun store, obviously, as the name suggests, is where you buy guns and also sell guns and melee weapons. Because you cannot sell guns and melee weapons or armor to the general store. So keep that in mind, pay attention to what they sell and pay attention to this discount. The higher your reputation, the bigger the discount, and if you consider the perk that gives you this Hagwar perk, it at level 3 gives you 30% discount, it's a solid thing to get. If you see a good legendary but it costs 1,300-400, well, get some more discount built up on that current character journey, and then buy it. If you get something like 60% discount, it's amazing what prices you'll be seeing. And then you have the tailor, as I kind of mentioned and showed during the crafting segment. Yeah, this is where you buy armor, some melee weapons, some ranged weapons, actually all types of bows, not ranged weapons, just bows. And you have things like flashbangs every now and then, but make sure you buy the skinning tools. Skinning tools will be useful and you would be able to find them in this place. Also, make sure you get some superior and basic heights of the type you want to get legendary armor early in the game. Now let's talk about the pros and cons of the game. Artistically, visually, it's a beautiful world. I like that kind of cel shading effect, similar to, for example, the Borderlands franchise that uses such a semi-cartoonish cel shading. I like that there's choices matter, plus a ton of freedom in what you do, how you approach. Do you murder everyone? Do you go sneaky sneak and knock them out, sparing their lives? Do you extort the information? Do you complete the quests? Or do you just kill everyone and take the information from their pockets and from their cabinets and so on? I like that there's an interesting main quest line. It's something cool. I personally enjoyed it. It's the Wild West plus some supernatural things like werewolves, witches, magic, and so on. And I like that mashup. Then it has a real-time combat that can be slowed down. I like that. Beautiful visual effects, sound effects, and soundtrack. The gear upgrade system exists. Sure, it's not perfect, but at least we have some sort of gear upgrade system. And you can play as 5 different classes. I like that. I like the journey system. There are some things I wish that were better, but at least you play with all 5 of them eventually. There's a passive ability system. Good thing to have. So passives and abilities, passive perks and active abilities, I guess is the best way to put it. Some of the progress and wood carries over between the journeys, which is nice. It's not all, unfortunately. You can't transfer your coins as far as I know, but at least you can transfer the other stuff. The passive perks that carry over between heroes is a very cool thing. Plenty of side quests and completionist bait, and especially all those war objects spread around the place. There is a bounty system which I like, there is a companion system which I like, which I didn't show you much about that system, but I guess now is the perfect time to just show you a little bit about it. You can just interact with an NPC and hire them, and you can hire some for a price, others will join you for free, especially your characters from your previous journeys. So basically what you do is you can access their equipment and you can store some things in their inventories if you felt like it. and you can give them stronger weapons if you want them to use those weapons, and you can even tell them what weapon you want them to use. Like let's show you with this guy. Well, he disappeared, so I can't show you. Okay, there we go. You can just tell him, okay, equip the bow. But the thing is, it's not full, it's not complete. You cannot tell them what other things to equip, what amulets to equip and stuff like that. You can only tell them what weapon to equip. Another thing I like is the reputation system. Completing quests and helping others, saving NPCs will give you reputation. Completing bounties as well will give you good reputation, whereas stealing, killing innocents will result in a negative reputation. So whether you go high reputation or low reputation in your journeys depends on you. And keep in mind that the reputation is tied to discount, so the higher the reputation, the bigger the discount, the lower the less of a discount you get in stores. Now when it comes to cons, I think the whacking, wood diversity and legendary gear is not special. Those are some serious things. Yeah, there aren't much wood options. You have one, actually you have two of each type of ranged weapon. And each of those can go up to legendary, but again, I've only found 2 legendary items, but that doesn't mean there isn't one for each type. And you can craft up to purple when it comes to weapons. So you have those different rarities, and yeah, there is some diversity, but it could be better, and legendary gear could be at least like something that feels legendary, not just a stronger version of the purple with slightly more damage or slightly more protection. The game could use quality of life in various places. Not everything carries over between journeys. As I mentioned, you can't leave the gold behind. Many of the areas have been copy-paste reused, especially the mines, but the devs already teased the upcoming changes and new encounter areas, which is good. Many of the areas, as I mentioned, might feel copy-pasted, but at least it's better than completely reusing everything. It feels like a copy-pasted area, but you still do things slightly differently. But again, it feels wrong. Can't fully manage the companion's equipment though. As I mentioned, I don't like that. I've encountered some annoying bugs here and there, but nothing too serious. There's also pretty small inventory and no way to increase it other than having companions and the horse, using your companions as mules and the horses, well, the horse mule. But yeah, there's no way to salvage melee weapons or armor, big disappointment here, and salvaging almost never yields or salvaging weapons, which it was supposed to, but I've never seen it do, or if it happened, I've missed it. That means it has happened probably a few times only. The purchase discount does not increase the selling prices, kind of disappointing, and there aren't much lockpick drops near certain locked doors and chests, which would force you sometimes to go back to town to restock, or just leave that area and never come back to it and miss out on that wood. So yeah, overall I'm happy with the game. I think it's a little bit overpriced for 40 bucks, and maybe the upcoming content from their roadmap would make the game better and worth the 40 bucks, but I think 25, no more than 30 should be what people pay for it right now. To get notified when I upload more content like this one or other builds and guides for Wooter and not so Wooter games, you can subscribe to my channel and hit that bell button to not miss out on notifications. As well as keep in mind there's something called memberships on YouTube, which lets you be a paying member for my channel to get access to perks such as emotes and badges made by me, as well as the option to get one-on-one tutoring for the very basics of Adobe Photoshop, Premiere and After Effects. And memberships can be cancelled at any time if you no longer want to be a member. Thanks for watching all the way until the end. Struck Web, keep it cool until next time, and goodbye.